it's comedy.
It is.
Yeah. How's it going, Dr.
Oh,
Whimsy?
my output. I was messed up with my sound. So I love that song so much, and I
It is
missed part of
beautiful, isn't
it.
it?
It's not
Oh,
the most beautiful thing you've ever heard.
I loved it. I could definitely hear you singing that.
Yeah, that was Monrovia. That was Monrovia. Check out his amazing channel. That was Heavyfoot by Monrovia. So if you love soft sounds, alternative folk,
Mm-hmm. It's
he's
very
your
soothing.
guy.
There was
I love his
even
stuff. I love
there
his
was even
stuff.
like a healing energy encoded into it. I
Yeah, and
felt.
it's so uplifting, no
Yeah.
matter what's going on right now, the wars and all the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's happening, the human spirit cannot be broken.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be broken.
But people need comforting right now. It's been a hell of a last few days
It
this weekend.
has. It
Yeah.
has.
And I tell you, there must be something going on astrologically. It feels like a Mercury retrograde. Should we tell people all the trouble we had?
Yeah, if you want to briefly. I don't want to take too much
Just
time.
briefly, just briefly. Whimsy always sends me a link to join the show, and it kept saying, "You have been blocked by the host." I'm like, "What? I've been blocked?" And I kept trying and trying and trying. Finally, like 5 minutes before we were going on, I got on successfully. And of course, we also have our wonderful author here, Marian Hailey-Moss.
Ooh,
We
tell
got
it.
her on.
Tell
Yeah.
the audience a little bit about that. What's happening later? We have a book club
Oh, what's
once a month.
happening
Do
later?
tell. Do
Well, it's
tell.
one of our very favorite things. One of mine. We're going to do our monthly author interview with Marian Hailey-Ross. Her book, Dreams Need Feet to Walk On. She's going to be with us 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Figure out the rest of your time zones there. Great lady. Great. She's got a lot to talk about, and we've got a lot to ask.
That's absolutely true. And what did you think of the book? She
I
said it's
enjoyed it.
not a Hollywood book, but I think it's very much. I think that people who become actors are really some of the most remarkable people, Chuck. Don't you agree?
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. Well, you know that I love any kind of artist, an actor, a writer, an artist, musician, dancer. We're all cut from the same cloth. These are the people I most love to talk to. I think you do too. We can relate. But I mean, I've got so many questions here. I don't even know what I'm going to ask. I'm just going to go with the flow of the interview once she's on. But she pointed out she feels it's not necessarily a show business book, but nonetheless, that is her background that does weave throughout the narrative of the story. And there are a lot of life lessons in this, which she will be talking about. But she has had some fascinating experiences.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And she's a very good writer.
Yes, she is.
I found myself really pulled into her stories, and I want to talk to her a lot when she gets here about that. I know you're excited as well. Well, let's go right into it. As many people know, Rob Reiner and his wife have passed. Unfortunately, they both died victims of they were murdered, unfortunately, by a family member. How are you feeling, Chuck? I know you were
I
a
was
fan of everything he did.
Well, yes, indeed. I was watching the local news here, the 6 o'clock news on Sunday, and it was about halfway through the show. They just said a double homicide at the Rob Reiner house, but they were only saying a 78-year-old man and a 68-year-old woman, and being very cautious as they needed to be to not divulge anything until they had confirmed the facts. But right off the bat, you knew that it was them. And then the story just got all the more tragic as there was speculation later in the evening that their son had stabbed them to death. And then, of course, the next morning it was confirmed by the police. And I saw on the news today that he's going to be charged with first-degree murder. I think they were still waiting on some more reports before the final indictment. But what a tragedy. What a monumental tragedy. I understand one of the daughters
Romy, yeah.
Found them, and I can just I can't even fathom what the family is going through right now. To have the daughter to have lost her parents and to know that her brother was the cause of this.
Well, he had a long history of challenges.
Mhm.
His Rob Reiner's son, Rob
Yes.
Reiner, and I
Uh,
believe his
mm,
wife's name was Michelle Singer Reiner,
yes.
passed away in their home with knife wounds. Son Nick was charged.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, drugs are really horrible things, and one of the things I decided to do continuing education on drug addiction. And
Mhm.
one of the things they talked about was chemical schizophrenia, that when people dabble in drugs,
Yeah.
particularly MDMA, these party drugs,
Mhm.
what people don't understand is that a lot of those that recreational drug use can cause permanent
Oh,
damage.
yes.
And so you can come from the most loving family in the world, but
Mhm.
if your friends are partying with MDMA and you get into that crowd, and
Mhm.
so I think
I've
Ro Ro
witnessed it personally,
yeah, and
people I've known.
so right, this, what they call chemical schizophrenia, certain
Yeah.
types of chronic mental illness that can be induced by these, drugs, these
Yeah.
party
Well,
drugs.
I mean, I know it's figuratively speaking, but, it rewires the brain in time. Like, for example, crystal meth is notorious for that. A very dear friend of mine, her daughter in high school got involved with meth, and I
Oh my
saw
god.
it was so tragic, but I saw the personality changes and disorders. I've watched it with a few people I've known.
It's
So,
so horrible.
it's the worst. It's the absolute worst. It's almost like it allows demonic energy to take over their mind, their soul, their body. But this is tragic about Nick. I didn't realize that he had written a screenplay with his father, and his father directed the movie, and it was loosely based on their own relationship. And it was made about 9 years ago. And of course, on the local news, they keep replaying the interviews from it, and it's just so eerie to see Rob Reiner's and his son Nick sitting side by side, and to know what was going to unfold in the coming years.
Yeah, and I hope that it will open up a conversation for parents who
Mhm.
are struggling, or anyone who's struggling with a family member that has these types of chronic mental health, or is what will often become what we call a dual diagnosis, mental illness combined with a drug problem. Because if you listen to some of the things that Rob Reiner was saying, he was talking about being Jewish, but he really loved the teachings of Jesus and turned the other cheek. And what I took away from this, and the whole thing hasn't come out yet, is if somebody has threatened your safety or threatened the safety of somebody else in your family, you're not obligated to have a relationship with that person. From my understanding, he had moved into the guest house. He wasn't able s I mean, he had been given everything,
Yeah.
and I think when someone has that type of chronic mental illness,
Mhm.
it's okay to find them something like a facility or something with
Well,
people
yeah.
that can handle it, because it could be outside of what you can handle, and it's
Of
okay to say,
course.
"I can't handle my son.
Of
I fear
course.
for my safety. My wife and I are seniors. We're afraid.
Mhm.
We need professional help."
Well, this was just a graphic example of how far it could go. People I've known who've gone through this, like my friend with her daughter, she feared for her own safety. If you've been around a schizophrenic person, you know how potentially dangerous they can be. They
Yeah,
think they're right, and you're the enemy. You're the one who's wrong, and they're out to get you. I've been on the receiving end of it myself.
and also bipolar. I mean, there's a lot of mental illness where it can be heightened or worsened by chronic drug use, or,
Absolutely.
bipolar, everything is extreme, everything is horrible, you know?
Mhm.
Um, Theoretically, it was the night before Hanukkah, and you find out your dad isn't gonna buy you a new car. You know, you get into a huge fight at a party because it's
Yeah.
the night before Hanukkah, and you don't love me if you don't A, B, C, D. That would be an example
Yeah.
of
'Cause
somebody with this kind of
that's
bipolar.
all coming out right now about it. I think it was a party at Conan O'Brien's house, and
Right,
this was witnessed by all the guests. Apparently,
right,
Nick and Rob got into a very
right. The night
heated
before
argument
Hanukkah,
the
when you're
night before.
starting to make sure that my order is in, right? But that's behavior that's appropriate when you're 5 years old, 6 years old, 7, 8. By the time you're pushing 40,
Mhm.
50, you're not yelling at your dad the night before Hanukkah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not feeling like a victim because the night before Hanukkah, you didn't get that new car. So,
Mhm.
there's the other thing that I see, and before the holidays is when domestic violence increases with
Mm.
these types of individuals. They're the person that's gonna grab the knife that's used to cut the turkey
Yeah.
after they get a couple drinks in them or pop a couple pills.
Mhm. Well, I think we've all seen volatile family dynamics, even under the better conditions, Thanksgiving and Christmas, when people get together and, as you said, have had a few drinks or they're just under holiday stress, it tends to bring out the worst in people. I mean, we've all seen that with our own families, but this was just a very, very extreme case
Yeah,
and so tragic.
and I really hope that it will be an opportunity for people who are in this situation because they did not want to abandon their son, even when he was clearly threatening their safety. They would not abandon their son.
No.
And I wish the people close to them had said, "We know you love your son, but right now you're not helping him and
Yeah.
you're not helping yourself."
Yeah.
I wish something had happened and that parents would know that it's okay to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That's
okay
it.
to
And
protect
that's
yourself.
that's just another form of love all to itself.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself.
Oops.
What
Oops, sorry.
what happened there? I was like,
I was
we're having
pushing the wrong button
this
again.
is just a theme of technical
It's been a weird day today.
difficulties today. I know. That's what I was saying. What's going on astrologically? I wish we had Joyce Petrus on now instead of later in the month. She's going to be our astrologer. I'd like to know what the hell is going on right now. This is a little weird, but we're
Yeah,
here.
it's
We're
been a
laughing
real
about it.
it's been a little bit strange, but,
Yeah.
so, in addition to all of that and just the horror of all of that, of course, Mr. Trump had to make some statements
Oh, yes.
about the Reiner's passing. How do you feel about that?
Where do we even start with this one? Well, Trump really seems to have shot himself in the foot with this one because he's actually got Republicans condemning him for this. Let's see, GOP Representative Thomas Massey. I think he said yesterday this is inappropriate and disrespectful discourse about a man who was just brutally murdered. I know on social media the last couple of days, I've seen people who were Trump supporters just denounce this, like how low could this man possibly go? It was both vitriolic and narcissistic. He managed to take this tragedy and try to make it about himself. It was just so pathetic, and almost everybody saw it for just what it was. So at a time where his popularity is already so low, this is just going even further down the tubes. And I think it's also just indicative of his declining mental state. Personality disorders are coming out. That's one of the signs of Alzheimer's.
Yes, yeah. Well, we talked about, frontotemporal dementias where impulse control, that
Yeah.
executive branch and then shut your mouth. When you become angry or you get taken over by the reptilian brain, or I do, or any of us do,
Mhm.
that's when the executive branch shuts down. But for this guy, it seems like it's 24/7, his executive, that ability to think before you speak.
Mhm. The
I
man
got
who
that problem
has
sometimes too myself. When I'm sick as a dog, I will fall into that reptilian state because you're just trying to survive.
yeah. but Whimsy, you don't have the nuclear codes.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a
Yeah,
good point.
this is, as his niece Mary Trump said, you know, the book she wrote 5 years ago, the subtitle of it was "The Most Dangerous Man in the World," and I think it's all the more so true.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen, what are you thinking, Chuck? Now this latest thing has come out with his chief of staff. I made sure to get a picture of him with his chief of staff. I thought people would get a
Susie
picture.
Wiles.
Yeah, what do you think of this interview she did with Vanity Fair?
Well, you know,
Tell the audience what happened because they might not
well,
know.
it's an interview with Vanity Fair. Well, I think, as I understand it, it's based on several interviews she gave. I think they may have been off the record,
Right.
and of course, right now she's claiming that a lot of what she said was taken out of context. And I tend to believe her because I just cannot believe she would intentionally try to sabotage her boss like this. You know, I tend to believe her that her comments were just, they were cherry picked what they wanted to hear. But there was one of the things she said about Donald Trump. She said he has an alcoholic's personality.
Right.
And it was very interesting because the White House has been trying to do damage control, and Donald Trump actually comes out saying that he agrees with her, that he does have an alcoholic's personality. And he was spinning it to say, well, that just means that I don't drink. I'm not an alcoholic, but I do have a possessive and addictive personality, which I thought that was amazing that he actually
No,
was that honest about
he
himself.
takes benzos and muscle relaxants, which
Mm-hmm.
stimulate the same part of the brain that
Well, of
alcohol
course.
does, which is why he slurs his words in the morning. It's why he takes Ambien. It's why he
Yeah.
snorts drugs. He still
Mm-hmm.
has the mind of an addict.
Well, of course.
He's a
And
dry drunk.
you know, I've told you, you know, I've spoken with people who used to work on The Apprentice, and this is what they told me, that he would show up all coked up, and it was just impossible to work with. They couldn't get a decent take out of him. They'd have to do like 26 takes and then fix it in the editing room to make it look like he knew what he was talking about. So he's got a history of all kinds of drug abuse. And it just reminds me of a friend of mine who, you know, last time I saw him was in San Francisco, and he was bragging about how he was sober, bragging about his sobriety. In the meantime, he was stoned on marijuana the whole weekend as he was bragging about his sobriety. It's amazing how people can be in denial and flip things like this.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're talking about it strictly as what is the mind of an addict, you're talking about physical changes that are taking place in a part of the brain, which is called the mesolimbic dopamine system of the brain. And that is where it feeds and stimulates this increase in dopamine in the brain. And there's a number of ways it can do that. One, by mimicking dopamine and binding to dopamine receptor sites, or increasing the amount of dopamine. Cocaine will bind to those receptor sites. And this is, and also it carries, they often, the point is that you start craving and you'll do anything to get that feeling. And it's interesting that they did rat studies where there was a button that the rat could push and it would stimulate the mesolimbic dopamine system of the brain. Every time it would push, it would get that high. The rat pushed food away and instead kept stimulating. That's the mind of the addict. And the rat starved to death.
Yeah. Well,
It
you
just
know,
had to
also,
get high. It had to get high. It had
yeah.
to get high.
And also people with ADHD, Donald Trump, I believe, has ADHD. They tend to be deficient in dopamine. So they're always looking for ways for those dopamine rushes.
Right. And you'll do anything to get high because once you become the addict, once that dopamine limbic system has been turned on, pleasure, 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 it becomes painful to live without it. And that's the point at which you begin lying, stealing, engaging in erratic behavior, because your world, paperback writer, is all about getting the next fix. Now, what's interesting is that when they've looked at the brains of pedophiles, there's an overlap between drug addicts and pedophilia.
Really?
Yeah, they want to have it again and again and again. And every time they get close to committing that crime, it becomes more aggressive. It might start where they're flashing in cars. They're flashing young kids in a car, right?
Yeah.
Deviance. And then it gets to the point of wanting to touch the victim. This is why it was really important that people take it seriously when Louis C.K. was caught touching himself in front of victims. And I'm just laughing. It's comedy. I'm wild and crazy. When the truth of the matter is, if he wasn't famous, that would be classic for a sex offender. They get high. For him, the high was seeing the shock and horror while he did this. And every time he would do it, it would become more and more and more inappropriate. And he was getting very close to wanting to touch his victims. And because you need to do a little bit more to get a little bit high, a little bit more high. And that's why there's a relationship or an overlap between the deviant and the addict brain. But that's basically what we mean when we talk about the mind of an addict.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the emotional immaturity that comes with it as well, because you often become trapped in childhood that you just want to feel good. And so everything goes back to wanting to feel good, wanting blankie, wanting milk, and not having the emotional maturity to say you're going to have to wait. You're not going to be able to have, you're going to have to go to a job you hate, and you're going to have to work for 8 hours, and you're going to have to spend an hour and a half in traffic. And those are the things the average addict should be able to handle.
Run away from their pain, whatever that may be for them individually.
Well, it looks like we've got a new member, Chuck.
Oh, do we? Well,
yes.
We know what that means, Whimsy. Get out that tambourine and do your stuff.
Leslie Ann 2667. Leslie Ann 2667. We welcome you. We welcome you to the Oracle of Whimsy, Chuck and Whimsy. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you here. Well, Chuck, what is everybody saying? Let's turn the camera on.
That's right.
We don't everybody, and then we will do the empath prayer, and we'll blitz. We'll do some blitz.
People here. Okay, so let me scroll back here. We have at Dawn/FL. I hope I'm saying that right. Brenda Rakestraw, Sally Joe 4267.
Hi, Sally Joe.
Gigi Pardo Lord 2372. I don't know if I need to say the numbers or not, but I'll say the full name. Deborah Murphy 4295. Ann Coleman 6064. Joel Tilson, our fabulous floor director. Thank you, Joel, for everything you do for us. And Anthony Rizzo, the barber. Let's see. Let me scroll over.
Hello, barber.
Here. Let's see. At FSU 4031. Well, hi all. Well, hello to you. Rock and Pony Lady. I love that name. Rock and Pony Lady. That's great. Joyce Petrus.
Hey, Joyce. Hope you'll be here for our Christmas show. Yeah. Or no, it's our New Year's show. Our New Year's show. But yeah, she's a gifted astrologer, and hopefully she's going to have some predictions for 2026. I'm excited.
I am too. I love Joyce. You know, she's a friend of mine, and it'll be just great to have her on here. Let's see. Wendy Burt, 8442.
Hello, Wendy.
Hey.
You know, I wanted to say a special hello. I'm wearing this. It was sent to me by Wendy. I love it. It makes me feel like a little princess. And, you know, anything that makes me look like a princess or feel like a princess.
Are those pearls?
Yes, and it makes me feel special like a princess. So thank you. I am a princess. I'm an oracle princess.
I love them.
I'm an oracle princess lady doctor person. So the other wonderful thing that Wendy did is she sent me this journal. Which
oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
Smells absolutely wonderful. I think it's real leather
for you.
And it's got a violin. You know what? I can't mark it with anything because I feel everything I write in it is going to have to be really, really important.
Well, you know what? Somebody once gifted me a beautiful leather-bound journal, you know, with handcrafted paper. And I felt the same way. I have to write profound things in this. I can't just put anything in it. And then I realized I wasn't using the journal. And I thought it was given to me to write in. So I just said to hell with it. And I started just writing in it as I normally do. And I write profound things anyway, and I bet you do as well.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Well, you know what I think we should do?
What should we do?
I think we should do the empath's prayer.
Okay. Let's do
So
it.
we can blitz away. Oh my goodness. Sneezing away. Yeah, if you would like to receive a healing at this time, go ahead and give us your name or the name of someone else you'd like us to pray for, and we will include them in our prayers today. How's that sound, Chuck?
That sounds good. I was looking
Anything
at
else
some
you wanna
comments.
mention?
Oh, nothing. I was just if I was distracted, it's because I was only looking at some comments here for questions. But yes, let's blitz away. Let's do the
All
empath
right. Give us the names
prayer.
of anyone you need us to pray for. We would love to pray for them today.
Yeah, please do.
Well, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about you being here with me finally, now that you're unblocked. And
Imagine how that made me feel. You've been blocked by the host.
I'm sorry.
It's
I don't know
I
why
knew.
that happened. It's very strange.
Well, I knew you didn't really block me, but
No,
it was just
I would never do that. You're
I
the
know.
co-host. That would be silly. How would we do the show? It makes no sense.
Oh, I don't know. We would have figured something. I would have gotten my iPhone or something. I don't know. We would have found a way to get me on, but
We would have found a way. All right, let's do it. Let's bring in the empath's prayer.
okay.
Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of us who are requesting healings today, we come together as a community and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, collectively, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed.
May all souls be healed. Yeah.
Well, Chuck, what are you thinking? You think we should blitz away? I mean, did we get the order? I don't know.
Did we get the order, or do we just order ourselves? From Brenda Rickstraw. Hello, all. Oh, love you guys. Well, we love you right back. Oh, you got a sweet face. Nice to see your picture there. Will J.D. Vance pardon the Trump bandwagon? Bondi, Hedgehog, Patel. Well,
let's take a look. I hadn't heard that one before. That's not nice. We got to be nice, people. We're spiritual people.
Do we have to be nice? Yes, we do. Just being facetious here.
Oh, I'm seeing the cards and I've got a feeling about it. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'm getting conflicting things here. Why don't you go ahead?
So I feel like, regarding this issue, there's a lot of pullback against this. A Queen of Pentacles would be like a pullback, like somebody who doesn't want to necessarily pushes back against this idea of a pardon. There could be pushback because of if everything comes out about Epstein, it's going to be real hard, particularly with a Queen of Wands energy moving in, which is my way or the highway. He's hanging it up. So it could be that President Trump leaves the presidency and dies before any kind of prosecution can happen. And the fact that the Queen of Wands are, hell no, you're not going to pardon him. So if he hasn't been charged, he can't be pardoned for future crimes, or it's going to get real dicey regarding the issue. Gets his wish. Vance gets his wish, but Vance doesn't want to touch this. Vance does not want to touch this. I don't think so, you guys.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
That was it. I mean, I'm thinking
okay. That's what I got. I got right now the cabinet, like family, like they're connected. There is that certain loyalty, but there's definitely going to be judgment around them. Huge amount of discontent. And as far as JD goes, he's going to be sticking to his priorities. And it's going to be about his own survival. He's not going to do something that's going to sabotage his own presidency. I think he's going to want to cut these people clear and loose and have nothing more to do with them. That's what I'm getting. It's his survival.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be real hard, and I think they're gonna drag it out, and then Trump may die before it happens or something.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, though, I do think there's a real possibility that was Trump's father placed in some kind of a facility towards the end of his life? Because that is Trump's biggest fear. He feels he's becoming paranoid, and they're checking my head, they're gonna take me away. I
Yeah.
had that fear as Trump. And I got a 10 of wands in the cards, and I'm an empath, so I try to use the cards to put myself in the shoes of the other. When I
Yeah.
saw that 10 of wands in my house of opposition, they're gonna try and they're framing me. They're for these MRI. You're out. You're gonna do a coup with Vance. You're gonna take me out. You're gonna take me to the psych hospital. That is my fear here. I've also got 8 of swords with him tied up, being taken away.
Well, we also know with any kind of schizophrenia, paranoia comes along with that, whether it be actual or it be drug induced. He's a very paranoid man. It's reminding me of Nixon toward the end. We all know about his paranoia. But if I'm not mistaken, Donald Trump's father, didn't he have Alzheimer's disease and he was put away in some sort of mental
He was put
facility?
away? He was put away?
I don't know that for fact.
Or did
Maybe
he
one of
die
our
at home?
viewers.
Because that is the fear that Trump has right now based on those cards.
I'm curious about that.
He really fears being hauled off to Bedlam.
I don't know if he was put away or if he was at least held under some kind of restriction.
I would think he would be.
Yeah, that would certainly.
I feel so bad for Mary Trump. Good God. Can you imagine being married to that horror? His mother, Mary.
Yeah, I know his mother.
She was a woman who was put upon every day of her life.
Yeah.
She was abused every day of her life.
Yeah.
She just sat there like the submissive Scottish maid, and he insulted her and her genetics. You're weak because she wasn't a purebred German. I mean, it was a real fruitcake.
Did he also put her down for her endometriosis?
Exactly. She was she wasn't German stock. She was this weak little Scottish maid, and she wasn't part of the upper crust. And so she just took it. She had no self-esteem with that guy. He made her life hell.
Wow.
Kristi Noem on her way out. What do you think, Chuck?
I think we talked about this on a show a week or two ago, didn't we? I think we got that she is on her way out. It's not looking good. I read some news report that she's on, I don't know of a polite way of saying it, on Trump's shit list, that he's pretty much fed up with her. And so that's not a good sign. Now, that's just coming from some inside people, and I forget where I read that. But I have a feeling she is on the way out. But let me ask this again, because energy, as we know, can shift. It could be a different answer now, but
you know what I always think when I look at
on
this?
her way out of office.
I just think like 50 years from now, people are going to look back at the Trump time and say, Grandma, what was that? What was going on? Like, what was this about? I mean, like, what are we going to tell future generations? How insane it is, and the number of people that are propping this lunatic up. I mean, it's just absolutely, it's like King George is back.
I know, but I just think of all of the cruelty this woman has perpetuated with ICE. You know, it's unconscionable. All the stories I keep hearing just on the local news here in LA. I keep hearing stories like a fruit vendor being handcuffed and thrown in a police car, a woman selling flowers being arrested, a grandmother selling flowers, stories like that. But Kristi Noem, do you see those television commercials they play, about if you turn yourself in, you will get a free flight home and financial assistance, and you may be given a chance to enter America legally. I think, yeah, right. Have you seen those commercials?
Yeah, I know I haven't. I don't really watch TV, but
That's right, you don't.
I can tell you that I feel like there's gonna be Senate hearings or something, and she's gonna be up against the gun having to answer questions in the
Oh
future.
God. I frankly, well, we know every cabinet member is unqualified.
There it
She
is
can't
again,
stand up
that
to the
9 of
president.
wands, this is what I see with Trump a lot is that 9 of wands. They're coming to get me. I'm
Mm,
barricading back in
mm,
Mar-a-Lago. You can't take me away. I mean, it's really got that feeling to it.
yeah,
Yeah, so, do we think she's gone? Probably yes, and
yeah. I
probably
got yes
hearing
with my pendulum.
and the Senate and the House is falling to the Democrats, and you can be sure we're gonna drag her in and interrogate her.
Hmm.
We're gonna make her life hell,
Oh, I think for
whether
every
she
member.
quits now or not.
Don't you think every member of that cabinet could potentially face a fate like this?
I think if they're
None of them are
smart
qualified.
I think if they're smart, they're gonna do everything in their power to get JD Vance in there to because this ship is sinking.
Hmm.
He knows Trump knows his own people hate his guts.
Hmm.
I mean, that's why he's so angry because he's in effect his presidency is a disaster and he knows it.
Well,
So he's got to blame somebody.
he's surrounded by hate. He's surrounded by people who want to throw him under the bus, even his own wife, in all likelihood.
Good God.
Yeah.
Trump
But
has illegally moved funds from other agencies to his border wall. Will Congress allow this? Wow, that's a good question.
that's a good question. I would say if this were a couple of months ago, probably yes. Probably yes, because it just seemed like the Republicans were rubber stamping anything he wanted. Just nobody contesting him. But now could be another story. So let's see. Will Congress allow this? Will Congress allow this? Will Congress allow this? You know what's interesting? I got a rather strong no.
Yeah, I'm getting
I
a
gotta
real
know. I gotta
you know
know.
what? Everybody is done with this nightmare.
Yeah.
Every member of Congress, every member of Senate, and every businessman, but the Senate especially. The Senate has you know, there are 100 people, men and women in the Senate. I
Mhm.
don't think it's gonna be hard to get I think that Lindsey Graham is seeing it. We give you the honor of the resign. The Senate is done. Congress is now out the door.
Yeah.
We got the goods, we got the MRI, we got everything. We can drag you to Article 25. We can make
Yeah.
this very ugly, Mr. President, because over this issue of the money, foolish spent, they leave him impoverished, right,
Mhm.
in exile. The guy who's broken, look at this, up at night, stressed out, 9 of swords. This is not, they're
Mhm.
not, these shenanigans have got to come to an end.
Yeah.
No
I think right
good-looking,
now.
self-respecting, hot, young Mitt Romney type is gonna wanna be you look at Mitt Romney, you look at the young, good-looking, dapper future senator or junior senator who's in the Republican Party. Does he wanna be tied to this? No, he doesn't. He wants to get his he wants to be on the side of a long career and possibly looking at presidency in a couple of years. So if you're
Mhm.
talking about future GOP, no, as for the GOP that's leaving, they don't care what the hell happens to 'em. Mitch McConnell's leaving, Tillis is leaving, a bunch of people are leaving. Throw them under the bus.
Mhm.
It's something like
Mhm.
5 Republicans are leaving or probably are gonna I mean, like, it's a ton. They're not gonna be able to hold on
Mhm.
to the Senate. So why
Oh,
not
no way.
throw them under the bus? Say
Sure.
while they have the power, get rid of this lunatic and get JD Vance in there. That's where they're so
Yeah.
that they can because if they don't do it soon,
Mhm.
they're not gonna stand a chance in 2028.
Oh, no. No, they are fighting for their survival right now. Uh, that's quite apparent.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is, timely. Wanna read it, Chuck?
Is Trump so jealous of Rob Reiner's death news attention? You know,
Oh,
the
that's
man is so petty and he's so about himself. It would not surprise me. I was listening to an interview today with Katie Couric and Mary Trump,
mhm.
and Mary Trump was more or less saying this. My uncle is such a narcissist, and he has to make everything about himself. And she reiterated again, he has zero empathy. He's incapable of showing any kind of empathy, and he always has to make it about himself. So he could be jealous. He could be jealous. Rob Reiner was a very outspoken critic, and Trump cannot stand anybody who criticizes him in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, it could be the attention. I don't know. Did you want to go further with that, Whimsy? Or?
No, I think that it's something I hadn't thought about, but it makes sense that, Rob Reiner was dearly loved. He was talking about his condolences for Erica Kirk and showing her compassion, and
Sure.
that he really was a gentleman at that time, and saying, "Be kind to people," but, and pushing towards kind. He was people that knew him, he was a genuinely kind man.
Well, I was just going to
His
say,
dad was great too. I did know his father. I did, not as a friend or anything, but just
yeah.
I was an extra on a show that his father directed, and I got to hang out for a week on the set and got to see him work. Not a friend or anything, but I saw enough to see that he was a very nice person to work with.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just going to say quickly, I have a couple of friends who worked for Rob Reiner in different capacities, and they both said to me that Rob was just the most down-to-earth, sweetest, warmest guy you could ever hope to meet. They adored him. And my friend also met his
Carl
wife.
Reiner. Yeah, Carl Reiner.
Yeah. Well, no, I was talking about Rob Reiner.
Yeah, I'm saying I got to be an extra on a movie with Carl Reiner and what's her name? Sean Young. What is her name? Sean Young? Sean.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
I think I know the movie you're talking about.
And Arendt, and that Cuban actor was in it also.
Wasn't that the movie with Steve Martin? Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. I guess it doesn't matter.
I was in a jazz scene. We were supposed to be listening, and it was stupid comedy. It was like the Top Gun. He's so hot. He's so hot, and then they lit him on fire, and they literally lit the guy on fire. He was a prop guy. But it was like a funny scene.
Yeah, one of my friends, he catered a party for Rob and Carl, and they had their wives there and other family members. It was an Oscar party, very intimate. Just said they were so unpretentious, so nice, and they invited all the caterers. Hey, come sit with us and eat with us and watch the show. They were like that, just down to earth as could be. And my friend said that Rob's wife was just a sweetheart. He loved all of them.
Wow, nice. Yeah. So the invasion of Venezuela, what do you think? Are we bluffing, or is he really going to attack Venezuela?
I've always thought that this was all about the oil in Venezuela. That's what Trump's really after. He's claiming it's to curb drugs, but I think it's about the oil.
God, after they murdered those
they've already confiscated tankers, and there was even a press conference. Well, Mr. President, what are you going to do with the oil on the tanker? And he actually said, I guess we're going to keep it.
But what about didn't they blow up and murder a bunch of fishermen? Like
well, they did that too.
Slaughter fishermen?
Yeah. So
that's not good.
No. So, but it seems like more than just a bluff. It feels more like a cover-up of some kind.
Let's take a look at Trump on Venezuela. Let's throw some cards on that. Okay. If you guys are just joining us, if you could like, share, and subscribe, we'd be eternally grateful. Thank you so much. Strength. I got strength.
Do you mean like in bullying? Yeah.
Ace of Wands and a wish card. I think they're going to do everything in their power to pursue this with war with an Ace of Wands there. Nine of Cups. I think this conflict could end quickly. But Ace of Wands, those are war cards. Strength. And so I'm nervous that he could be serious with those cards. I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, what I got is, I got denial. There's obviously a lot of lying going on about what's really happening here. And business, finances, oil, big money involved. and a lot of creativity around this as far as inventiveness. How are we going to lie on this? How are we going to spin this to the public? What's really going to go on? But I still think it's like I said earlier, it's about the oil.
Yeah. It's like the movie Syriana. They said Venezuela will fall and it'll be about the oil. They predicted this.
Yeah.
And we thought, Venezuela? Why would we anybody in Venezuela? See, and people laughed in the theater watching Syriana. And that's exactly that we're going to manufacture a war with Venezuela. And that's what happened 15, 20 years later. When I don't know, Syriana was what, 15 years ago?
I'm not sure. I think roughly that.
Yeah. All right. Will Putin accept Zelensky's peace deal?
Will Putin accept Zelensky's peace deal? I'm getting a big no. Just with the pendulum, big no.
Really? Okay, let me take a look.
Yeah, but there could be more to it. Let's see.
I think that Zelensky will get his way. Putin is going to have this is a contract. Opposition dancing in the streets.
Yeah.
The death of the war. Finished. In plainer words, Putin will have to agree. Even if Putin doesn't agree now, eventually Putin will agree because Zelensky is going to win. Putin is going to leave anyway. We are going to remove him somehow. If NATO doesn't do it, Israel will figure out. Israel will play the game. Yes, we are getting along, and they're not releasing their intel. And yes, we hope to have a good relationship with Putin going forward. Meanwhile, I can guarantee you, if NATO doesn't take out Putin, Israel will after October 7th, and after the evidence shows that he was very much involved in the massacre of October 7th. Putin is living on fumes. He is on borrowed time.
Yeah, because, when I asked Special, I phrased it, will Putin accept Zelensky's peace deal? I'm wondering if it's just Putin.
It said yes? Well, that's good, though.
No, I got to know, but I'm
you got to know.
I think it's because of the phrasing of the question.
And so then if that's this war will end in Zelensky's favor. So if that's true, it means that Putin's going to lose. I'm telling you.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Not allow Putin to win.
That's what I was saying, because I phrased it, will Putin accept? And I think that's why I was getting the no, because you got that Zelensky will be ahead, but it could be because Putin is going to be so diminished and out of the picture. He's going to have no choice. But I don't think it's going to be like a voluntary acceptance. That's what I'm getting. I don't know. How does that ring with you, Whimsy?
I hope you're right. And I do. I know. I need to be optimistic about this, because this guy Putin is such an existential threat to the world, man.
Yeah. Okay. When I ask it, is it just because Putin is so diminished? I'm getting much more of a yes on that.
Yeah. Good.
And his voluntarily accepting. That's why I think I got such a strong no there. You have to be so careful with how you phrase a question.
Right.
Pendulum.
Okay, let's do one more question, and then we have a guest. But which troops? We'll do one more because we started really late today. Yeah. Which troops will be peacekeepers along Ukraine's border if peace deal is accepted? I would think NATO, right? What are you thinking, Chuck?
I would certainly think so. I mean, I don't really have the kind of cards to ask that question that's specific.
I'm thinking Sweden and Finland are going to protect their borders. But I think absolutely Britain and the United States.
Oh, yeah. But NATO makes a lot of sense.
It's so interesting. I have friends in Israel right now, and I'm a dual citizen of the state of Israel. And I fly back and forth usually once a year. And they say that there are foreign troops all over Israel right now, landing every day. U.S. troops are landing. Yeah. Troops from Finland and Sweden, they're seeing them walking down Jerusalem. Hey! And they're like, what are all these troops? And it's because they're starting to create the safe border so peaceful Gazans can go and stay in the safe zone. So I wouldn't be surprised if they used the same people that are creating the safe zone in Gaza if we saw something similar in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun, my love. That was fun.
That was fun. Well, how are we doing on time? Do we have time for more questions, or should we go on to
I think we're ready.
Author?
I think we're ready. You want to give the audience a little bit of information about who our author is?
Oh, fabulous author, Marian Hailey-Moss, she got her start as an actress. That's why I think we both thought this might be a little more of a show business oriented book, but it's really, as she will explain to us, it's about more about life, about discovery. Even her title, Dreams Need Feet to Walk On. It's about giving initiative to making your dreams a reality, to carrying them forth into the world. It's about listening. And as we know, actors are among the best of listeners. That's part of the craft of being an actor. It's about listening to your partners and responding and reacting. And so I feel that made her very astute to do this in her life.
It's interesting also is that she said that this was not a book about acting, but look at all the amazing film and theater that she got to be a part of, playing opposite Bill Bixby in theater, working with people like, God, she's a gorgeous woman, isn't she?
Oh, yes. Well, I was very intrigued, and I know we're probably not going to have time to ask questions about her show business career, but I saw that she was in the Broadway production of Company. And, that fabulous song, that's very, very fast. I'm not getting married. I am getting married. I'm getting married. What's the title of it? Getting Married. I think that's what it's called. And the thing about Sondheim, every syllable of every word, every beat is so mathematically precise. That is a very difficult song. And I know Beth Howland, who used to be on Alice. She's the one who originated the role. But as soon as, I met Marian before the show, and I heard her speaking voice, and I could so hear her singing that song. I almost want to ask her to perform it.
Right. So, obviously the acting was a huge part of her gift to the world.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So let's give a warm welcome to the amazing actress, writer, amazing person, Marian Hailey-Moss. Welcome.
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay.
We can't see you.
These off, I can still hear you. Should I do that?
You can hear me?
Without these.
Oh, okay. You can hear me without those. All right.
Okay. So should I speak into this?
Sure. Go for it. We can hear you just fine. Chuck, did you want to go ahead and
Yeah. I wish I could see you.
Still in the technical department here.
Okay. Oh, Marian, there you are. You probably heard me beforehand. If there was time, I wish you could perform a little of that song for us.
You're right. That was a really hard song.
It's considered one of the most difficult songs in theater, because as I was saying, it's so precise, every syllable, and it's so fast, and it has to be on pitch. And hearing your speaking voice, I can so hear you doing that. But I know we're here to talk about your marvelous book, which is incredible. And one of the things, I guess I have so many questions here, but when did you first understand that dreams don't just need belief, they need movement? I think that ties in with your title.
Well, I don't know. Dreams need feet to walk on, to me, means that you have to be practical in order to fulfill your dreams. You have to have your feet on the ground. The story that brings that, my interpretation of light, is the one of my grandmother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Grandmother Josephine.
Was she the one with the glass slippers?
Well, no, that was my mother. She's the one with the slippers that flapped all the time. And
yes, I remember that.
They were left under the bed.
Yes, I recall.
And she died.
Yeah.
As Whimsy said, it's a little traumatizing, the book, because every ending is sort of, a downer.
I mean, I have to admit, I even cried a little bit over Yippee the dog.
Yes. Yippee.
I'm so glad, because I was able to write this because of my spiritual practice, which I found a master, a friend of mine, introduced me to a master when I was really down after my second divorce. And I put it in your link there, sometimes. She really thinks, along with the United Nations, that if we're all plant-based, climate change would calm down. So if you go to Earthlings,
Mhm.
you'll see how animals are treated,
Yes.
Have
Yes,
you
I have.
seen
Yes,
Earthlings?
I can't. But I've seen parts of it. But
Have you
yeah,
really?
so
I couldn't either.
yeah,
But
but
to
yeah,
be vegan is easy. I mean, I don't
yeah.
need to see Earthlings to be vegan, but a
Oh
lot of
wow.
people do.
Oh,
Yeah. So the thing that I took away was there perhaps your endings are very abrupt. They're zingers. They hit us so hard, like the death of your grandmother. I can't come to the phone right now. I'm busy, and then finding
Yeah.
out she had passed. And
Very selfish I was. But you have to, like, just coming on here, I couldn't talk to anybody today. I mean, that's the way my life was in theater. So my poor first husband needed some attention, The second husband loved show business. In fact, his father was an actor, and his mother too, actually, and a soap opera writer. So he understood. But it's a very
no.
jealous kind of profession, I think.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You're talking to someone here who lives in Los
Well,
Angeles. I'm
you
surrounded by
painting.
actors.
I imagine that everything shuts down while you paint, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
well, Chuck is also a trained actor. He's in
Yeah.
the Screen Actors Guild. He's
We-
an actor.
Well, I trained with Dee Wallace, who played the mother in E.T., the extraterrestrial. And one of the
Oh,
things she always taught us is acting is just a metaphor for life itself. So
exactly.
all of your acting background prepared you
For living.
for your whole story
For
here.
being
Yeah.
here tonight.
Well,
Right.
it's just like, you talk about a lot about listening, and I know that from acting training that listening is one of the most essential tools for an actor. So how can people learn to recognize these quiet nudges that matter, that propel us forward with our dreams? What are your own observations?
Well, are you talking about meditation?
Well, I'm just talking about listening to life in general, listening to energy, listening to the signs. Actors are born observers and listeners. And I was just wondering how that helps you to proceed forward with dreams.
Well, it was the opposite for me.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. When I met Paul, I think he allowed me through him, I was able to love myself.
Uh-huh.
And it just like burst like a volcano when I saw him. And from then on, I split from my family. In fact, I'd like you and Whimsy. I pretty much understand a lot of my family, but I don't understand why I was separated from my mother, why I separated from my mother. I mean, not separated in a healthy way. I mean, I was detached. It was very, very, she was Whimsy detached just recently in Bogota, but for a very good reason, a very obvious reason. My mother was kind, was giving, was supportive, not really that supportive about acting, but
Many mothers aren't. Can't you find something else to do for a living?
Yeah, right. My father said, well, if it doesn't work out by 30, you have to take typing class.
Do you think that your mother was just depressed? Do you think that
Yes.
it was how didn't she grow up without her father? Is that what happened?
No, well, he
No,
died when she was 16. I mean, that's not that young.
Yeah, okay, that's
But
right.
he was a very authoritarian, an alcoholic, and made, I mean, kind of function. He couldn't get a job. He was an accountant. I think that he came from a wealthy family because my grandmother was their housekeeper. And I think they disinherited him when he fell in love with her and married. That's, I'm assuming. I didn't ask like a dodo.
Wow.
Oh, there's so much
So
that's my parents.
Yeah.
my mother was really the, I don't know, the caregiver or the everything to my father. He was king. But that was not that unusual in that time.
No, not in that time. That was probably the case with my own mother and father. You know, I wanted to ask you, was there a story in the book that felt especially vulnerable for you to share? Because there's so much you do share of yourself in the book.
Oh gosh, well, I think all of it really. I mean, you know, the one about my grandmother, I feel so bad about.
Yeah.
How selfish that and I just missed, you know, I could have talked to her before she died. And that's why when the doctor later, many years later, the doctor said, you have to come and take care of help your mother, because my father had lung cancer. So I did. I was there for 3 years. It was like being suffocated, because they just were, you know, so symbiotic. If you left, they were lost. But anyway, so that's when I came home. I had to do something to express what I went through. So I wrote the one story about my mom and dad, you know, dying. I think of Whimsy every time.
You really opened your heart up.
The dog. I'm sorry, that dog terrified.
I'm so glad,
being
because
sent to its death and being tortured to
know,
death, probably experimented on and euthanized. I don't want to turn people off from the book, but I mean, the other thing is like in the car, when the dog gets in the car and you say, I wasn't that close to the dog anymore. Like, oh, well, adios. Your ability to detach.
Exactly.
Did you look inside your soul and say, maybe I'm the problem? Like
with my mother?
Yes. And also with your mother, like,
absolutely.
What are you eating? I'm in college and what did you have for dinner? What did I have for dinner? Okay, Mom. I mean, it was just really.
Exactly. So sad, because she was such a good person, you know, and I'm not so bad either, but it was a terrible relationship. And it was mostly me. I thought of that when I heard you in Bogota, that your sister was actually the difficult one, whereas I was the difficult one.
She was just stuck having to take care of me. That was the thing. She lost her childhood. She was taking care of the adults, and so she was rightfully angry. But I was a child. I was a child.
Did your mother ever come back?
Well, she got custody when I was 15, but my poor sister, she had to raise these kids. So you can imagine how angry, she was being mistreated, and she was being abused and enslaved. So you always have to kind of put yourself in the shoes of the other person, which, like what we're talking about with Rob Reiner today. He loved his child, and I'm never going to abandon him, even when his child was threatening to kill him, fighting and everything. No, you don't get the car keys. You're drunk, you're high, you're stoned. Whatever the story is, that person that sets boundaries to the person that has no boundaries, you put your life at risk. Or it can be something that's more subtle, where you just don't feel good when you're around that person, because the person is subtly or not so subtly trying to hurt you, and they may not even be consciously aware of it.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm so glad, though, that you like the part about the dog, because maybe and you can
that last part made me cry.
When you have the turkey for Christmas or something, you can think of the turkeys and the factory farms that are really suffering.
No turkey legs, I guess.
But when I saw that, is it okay to say what happened?
Sure.
About how the dog inadvertently was sold for medical research.
Yes.
your father tried to save the dog.
And the horrible thing was
Yeah.
the people that bought the house after
Yeah.
after the dog was at the veterinarian who sold him to the,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Oh, I just
people
felt
at the house said
horrible
they
about that.
take the dog. So my dad went back and the vet had already sold.
Yeah. And then you said your father was so heartbroken that he couldn't even eat his breakfast for days to come. I would be heartbroken too. In fact, I had my cat Sasha here. I was like holding her, like,
I
oh
know
no,
they're
Sasha,
really
no,
effective.
no.
You're a very good writer, by the way, Marian.
Yeah, you
I
are.
learned that
Well,
from my husband. I always thought I couldn't write. I gained 20 pounds in social work school because I had to write 2 papers or something. In high school, I never wrote. And so my husband, who was head writer for Sesame Street,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
he wrote all these wonderful things, very simple. So I said, well, maybe I don't have to be Nietzsche either. I could just write, what I think and feel,
Yeah. Well, there's power in simplicity.
simple.
Simple, basic.
I mean,
I
I can't write any other way. So I mean,
Well, you shouldn't write any other way. You're writing your truth. But I even love that part about Mr. Hooper on Sesame Street, how they had to put a cord around his leg to yank it
yeah,
because he couldn't sing on cue. So they had to pull the cord to remind him when to sing.
that was the first time I went to Jeff's apartment, which is in this building, actually. I met Jeff in this building.
Really? Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh
but
my
then we
God.
moved on.
Because the theme of your book is about pursuing your dreams. And, just as someone who pursued acting, that in itself, because it is one of the toughest professions possible to go for. You have to really love it and you have to really keep encouraged even
I was
when you're
obsessed. I was
down.
obsessed.
You have to be. You have to be. It has to be where you can't do anything else. You don't want to do anything else. But I was going to ask you along those lines, do you believe dreams evolve as we walk through them? Or do they remain essentially the same? And it's while we change and it modifies and adapts.
Oh, I think dreams change a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have the same dreams I had when I was 30.
Yeah. I was interesting to
You?
hear you elaborate upon that. Oh yeah, my dreams evolve too. They're always morphing, but I just wanted to hear your own spin on that,
A
having read your
terrible
book.
thing is, though, that when a friend of mine was talking about, Nuremberg. I love, I'm a little nervous now, so I can't think of his name. The guy who's the lead, big guy who played.
You mean the new version, the new movie about
Yes, yes.
Nuremberg?
Tracy? Or
Is
the
it
old
is Russell Crowe in that?
Yes, that's him.
That's him.
Okay.
Okay.
Spencer
Russell-
Tracy was in the old one, right?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, the original's a masterpiece. That's why I was going to ask you which version you meant.
So I've been looking on and those were really the years, 41 to 46 when I was closest to my family. I lived in Portland. Love
Yay.
Portland.
Love
With all the
Portland. I'm here
beautiful
now.
roses and everything.
Yes,
Do you know, is Crescent Park still there?
of course. Looks exactly the same.
I lived right in back of it.
Me too.
Really?
Well, I lived on 27th.
I lived on Francis.
I lived on Roan, 27th and Roan.
And then we moved to Woodward, a couple of blocks away.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. So not too far from Cleveland High School. We
Was
were
that
pretty
it?
close. We were close to Cleveland High School. Yeah. Yeah. Very
Oh.
cool. So Mary,
And what was I saying? Well, dreams. So I've been watching these things, the interviews and all that go on with the Nazis and all. So I've been having terrible dreams of being in the army and all kinds of things. So you really have to watch it. I mean, I have to watch it.
mhm.
But you're not talking about those kind of dreams. You're talking about dreams that inspire you.
Exactly. Goals, dreams,
Yeah.
giving feet to your dreams,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I found it interesting from your perspective of having been a successful actress. You had to work hard. to get there. You had to
Yes.
really hold on to your dreams and persevere.
Yes.
And of course, as we know, there are a lot of setbacks that come. And I was going to ask you, what role does failure play in the life of a dream or a goal?
Well, the one that was the hardest for me was the company, and in the same genre, because of all the words and so fast.
Yes.
I thought I'd ace it because of talk. I can't sing. So I thought, oh, a song that I can talk. It's very hard. And then afterwards, I think of doing the Bix pieces with Twyla Tharp, where you have to speak during cues of classical music, the Bix pieces, and you have to do French and speak numbers. And I mean, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and you had to speak on the beat also, didn't you?
yes. And with the dancers, if you mess up, the dancers go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Twyla
So
would
that
not have been happy.
Is that what you were asking?
Well, I just I know that pursuing a dream like acting, there are going to be a lot of failures, a lot of setbacks.
The worst was my first marriage.
And I'm of the belief that there is a gift in everything, and even our failures have gifts. They have things that teach us, they propel us in a direction we might not have gone in a certain way. And that's why I wanted to hear what you had to say about what role does failure play in the life of a dream, from your own perspective.
Well, that's the best thing that happened to me was my spiritual practice and finding a spiritual master.
Yes.
And that came because of great, I guess I was really down and out after my second divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was, I wanted to keep on working as a therapist and everything, but I mean, it was hard putting one foot in front of the other. But my friend introduced me to Supreme Master Shanghai, and it's just changed my life.
Yeah.
For the better.
Those are the gifts.
Yeah, right.
That came from it.
So what did you act in?
What kind of plays and theater have you done? He did Barefoot in the Park. I know he played.
I did. I played Paul in Barefoot in the Park. In fact, I celebrated my 30th birthday on stage doing Barefoot in the Park. I did Greater Tuna. Are you familiar with that show? Where it's a two-man show and each actor plays 10 roles.
Oh my God.
That was my favorite thing I've ever done. I played actually 10 and a half characters because I also played the dog. And I think the dog was named Yippee, if I'm not mistaken. So I played 10 characters and I also was arf, 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 the dog. So I was 10 and a half characters. Wow. That was one of the hardest and most challenging things I've ever done. And I loved it. It was exhilarating. And I bet you were exhilarated when you did Company, when you mastered that very difficult song.
I never mastered it. Really? I never felt I did. Yeah, I mean, I never flubbed it or anything, but I always felt each night, oh my God, I had to go over it and over it in my mind.
Yeah, and then you were probably under the pressure of Mr. Sondheim, because I understand he was very hands-on with his shows.
I only saw him when he came,
the
dress rehearsal, and they called me up and said, he wants you to come in and wants to add a couple of things. I said, I can't. I have, I have to go to the bathroom all the time. What do you call it? Yeah. I said, I can't. I'm sick. That's a better euphemism. I
bet you were fabulous.
That I missed him. Who was really fabulous was the fellow that played. He was talk about feet on the ground. Steve. I can't remember. Elmore. He was wonderful. Who played the husband? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful voice. Oh. And Larry Kurt. I met him.
Larry Kurt. Yeah. Wow.
Larry Kurt.
He was legendary because of West Side Story.
Yes.
Played Tony.
Yes. He said he sang all day. Kind of to warm up all the time.
Yeah.
Beautiful, strong voice.
Oh, I love West Side Story. That's one of my
I
favorite
didn't see
cast
it.
albums of all time.
Yeah.
Marian, is there a
Yeah.
possibility that you could read? Like, do you have a 5-minute piece
Yes,
from?
I'd love to. I'd love to.
We would love to hear you read
You
a little
would.
bit from the book before we close
I
today.
thought we just do the first chapter.
That sounds lovely.
It does.
Okay. Chapter 1, Show and Tell. Mom let me take her gallstones to science class. Can you imagine? I brought six of them. I was in 6th grade. No, 7th grade. I brought 6 of them in a white jewelry box. There were 4 little and 2 big ones. Mr. Barber, the teacher, was impressed. There was a hush in the room as kids lined up to take a look. No one had ever seen gallstones before. They were different shades of brown and looked angry and awfully big to have been in someone's innards. Trophies of endurance. Mom's own endurance was measured by the feelings that she tried not to feel. As the only girl with 6 brothers, she had to put on a brave face. They used to tease her quite a lot. Sister, they want to see you cry, her mom told her. Just don't cry. So Mom stopped crying. She pretended not to be bothered, and her brothers stopped bothering her as much. Since Mom no longer seemed bothered, nobody in the family ever knew how she felt about anything. And nobody bothered to ask. That's how it was with Mom and her brothers. And that's how it was with Mom at home with Dad and me. Dad was brought up by 2 women. Grandma Wallace was as steady as Josephine, his mother, was unreliable. Josephine would farm Dad out to stay with the local minister or sometimes to a home for boys. To compensate for his fear of abandonment, Dad tried to boss around whoever he could whenever he could. It isn't surprising that he became a dyed-in-the-wool, shameless chauvinist. But Mom and my father made a good team, and it looked like Dad was the undisputed leader. Mom followed his lead for as long as she could until her gallbladder gave out. After all those years of hiding her feelings, they finally turned to stone. But oh, how Mom glowed at the movie house. Whenever she took me to the movies, her whole posture changed. She got taller and straighter, and there was a self-confident wisdom in her face that I wasn't used to seeing. Mom would look up at that big screen and see women thinking and feeling and expressing themselves with no fear about who was watching. Elizabeth Taylor, Jane Wyman, and Joan Crawford might as well have been apparitions of the Virgin Mary herself. Mom came from a Catholic household. These actresses gave her hope that someday, in some immaculate sort of way, she could give birth to a new, better life for herself, one in which she would be admired for her beliefs, not just for cooking meals, keeping house, and doing laundry. Mom had been acting all her life, but to be a recognized actress meant freedom and romance and respect. I'd say that was Mom's version of the American dream. She was dismayed when it became my dream too.
It's beautiful. I love hearing you read. I hope you're going to do an audiobook of this.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
Oh, I think it's an excellent idea. You have a lovely voice, and just there's so much energy and life to your words.
Well, that was a big thing. I never knew I had a strange voice until I went to Ashland and they said, "Oh, how can we use her for Juliet?" But then
I think it's an asset.
when I was in person, I did get cast as Juliet, and then I came to New York, and I had a lot of people say, well, it was. One reviewer said I sounded like a squirrel.
I think
So
you have a memorable
I
voice.
tried to do all kinds of things with I should have just left it.
Well, you have a memorable voice. It's distinctive. It's just so filled with life and light. I loved hearing you read. I read your book, but to hear you reading it, you really brought it to life. You brought new dimensions to it.
So, Whimsy, were you an actress? You were an extra?
I did some extra work. I took acting in high school, but I would never call myself really an actor. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I do this for fun. But wow, Marian, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your book.
You're my favorite. You're my favorite program. You and David Muir.
Oh, how sweet.
That is so sweet.
Be sure and check out Dreams Need Feet to Walk On by Marian Hailey-Moss. Thank you so much, Marian. It was quite a lovely read. If anyone has any questions for Marian, we'd love for you to go ahead and give them to us, and we can share them with Marian. I also wanted to make an announcement that for December and January, we have selected another book. And I'm very excited about this book as well. The Trouble with the Truth. The Trouble with the Truth is our late December and I guess late January read. That's how we roll. We usually do these in the middle or third week of the month. But The Trouble with Truth memoir is our book. It's written by Elizabeth Kelly Stephenson. And I was really pulled to the title, Trouble with the Truth, and it's a memoir. Beth considers these words as she answers her counselor's questions at the first of many sessions. She's thinking of her own self-destructive behavior. I love this kind of stuff. This is also why I loved your work, Marian, is I loved the psych a lot. People that really try to figure out how their head works. I just absolutely love that. So I'm sure you can get this at Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. If you
That's
want.
where I got it.
Dreams Need Feet to get it on Amazon. Elizabeth Kelly Stevenson is the author. ElizabethKellyStevenson.com if you want to order from the author directly, but I believe you'll be able to get it through Amazon.com as well. Thank you, Marian. Thank you, Chuck, so much for being here. And thank you to all of you who decided to join us. And of course, a lot of people saying hi to you and thanking you for your book.
Thank you, you guys.
Yeah. And I just wanted to make sure that Marian got to see all of those.
I was just going to thank the Sybil for your lovely comment there. There's a couple of books in me trying to get out.
Good.
I don't want to leave this lifetime without at least one book published.
Yes, everybody has one book.
Well, everybody has a story. Everybody.
Yes.
Rock and Pony Lady, one of your fans, writes, I learned a lot about myself through reading Marian's book. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we're out of here. So be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can find all that information below. Chuck, you want to give a shout out if anyone's trying to reach you?
It's just my name. You see my name there. It's just DransfieldChuck, one word, @gmail.com. It's always my honor to do a reading for you, create a piece of artwork for you. I usually get strong intuitive hits from my subjects, so you get a little more than a portrait. You also get a little bit of a message with it. So if you're interested, please write me. And also, I do a channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles, and a show on Mondays, Chuck's Captivating Chat, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
You keep busy. All right. We're out of here. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.